Imagine if every morning you could step into a peaceful, private space where your worries melted away, your mind cleared, and your body felt refreshed. Not from perfumed soaps or massage oils, but from something far deeper, something with the power to change your entire life from the inside out. This is the experience many discover when they begin the practice of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with sincerity and conviction. Rather than a visit to a luxury spa, it's a journey inward to your very own Daimoku spa, where the waters are not made of steam and lavender, but of the life-affirming rhythm of this chant and the profound wisdom of the universe. Most of us know, at least in our hearts, that our thoughts and feelings can shape our bodies, and our bodies can shape our spirits. When we feel sad, sometimes our shoulders slump and our energy drops. When we feel happy, our faces light up and our posture straightens. Even medical science is beginning to recognize this connection, though it still often keeps the mind and body in separate boxes, treating one with medicine and the other with therapy or encouragement. Yet old wisdom teaches that this split is an illusion. The truth is that body and mind are one, inseparable. Nichiren Daishonin, the great Buddhist teacher, wrote in his The Real Aspect of the Gohonzon that to chant Myoho Renge Kyo itself is the hear, think, and practice stage of the perfect and immediate enlightenment of original Buddhas. In other words, when we chant, we are not just saying words, we are shifting our very existence, and that shift is not just spiritual or just physical, it is both at once. Gautama Buddha himself spoke of the unity of body and mind, but it is in the Lotus Sutra, the scripture that Nichiren Daishonin saw as the ultimate teaching, where this truth is made most vivid. In the Lifespan of the Thus Come One chapter we read, "The Thus Come One is able to see clearly the place where all living beings will dwell. There is no differentiation among the living beings. There is no differentiation among the lands. The true aspect is free from the taints of desire and attachment, and is always serene." Here the Buddha teaches that at the heart of all things, there is a oneness beyond all differences, including the difference between body and mind, spirit and matter, health and illness. This is not just a distant, abstract idea. It is something we can experience for ourselves every time we sit before the Gohonzon and chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. At first, especially if we are new to chanting, the changes may be subtle. We might notice a bit more peace in the mornings, or a little more energy during the day, or a smile that comes more easily to our face. But over time, with consistency, we start to see deeper changes. There is a brightness in our eyes, a vitality in our step, a clarity in our mind that others notice and that we feel within. As the famous Buddhist scholar Ji, whom Nichiren Daishonin praised highly, once wrote, "The mind with profound wisdom is just the mind with profound enlightenment, and Buddha nature is everywhere. In any place, in any time, there is nothing outside the single thought of the mind in the present moment." In other words, when we tap into this wisdom through chanting, we are tapping into the deepest, purest part of ourselves, and it shows inside and out. Science might say that chanting is a kind of meditation, and that meditation can lower stress hormones and even boost the immune system. But Buddhism goes deeper than this. It teaches that our daily practice of Daimoku does more than just relax us or make us feel good for a while. It actually purifies our six senses, our sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and mind from the roots. The three poisons Buddhism speaks of, greed, anger, and ignorance, are not just mental problems. They affect our bodies too, causing illness, fatigue, and unhappiness. When we chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with conviction, we are not just soothing our minds, we are cleaning away the causes of suffering, both visible and invisible, and allowing the Buddha nature that is always within us to shine through more brightly. Nichiren Daishonin compared the body to a palace, and the mind to the king who rules within it. In one of his letters, he wrote, "The body is the palace of the ninth consciousness, the pure and undefiled Amala consciousness, or Buddhahood, the unchanging reality which reigns over all life's functions." What does this mean? It means that When we chant, we are not just polishing the surface of our lives. We are reaching into the very foundation of our being, our Buddha nature, and letting this wisdom direct our lives from the inside out. When this happens, our health, our appearance, our relationships, and our sense of purpose all begin to reflect this inner radiance. This is why some people, through determined chanting, have overcome even the most serious illnesses. It is not a magical cure, but a realignment of the deepest energies of life. Nichiren Daishonin explains in another writing, if one's mind is pure, one's body will also be pure. If one's mind is impure, one's body will also be impure. Here, purity does not mean perfect health or never having problems, but rather aligning our hearts and minds with the truth of our Buddhahood. When we do this, even in difficulty, we find within ourselves a resilience, a brightness, and a sense of peace that others notice and appreciate. In the daily practice of Daimoku, we discover how our chanting can benefit us in both visible and invisible ways. Sometimes, we chant for something we can see, a better job, healing from illness, harmony in our family. These are called conspicuous benefits. But as we continue, we notice that our chanting is also purifying our hearts and minds. We become less easily angered, less anxious, less greedy. We find ourselves more able to forgive, more eager to help others, more at peace with ourselves and the world. These are the inconspicuous benefits, the quiet changes that may not make headlines, but which truly transform our lives. The Lotus Sutra speaks often about invisible benefits. It tells the story of a young woman who, by simply hearing a verse from the sutra, was able to instantly change her karma. She became enlightened in a moment, and her body and mind were purified. The sutra teaches that the invisible practices, the sincere recitation, the devotion, the willingness to change, are just as powerful, if not more so, than the visible results we crave. Nichiren Daishonin echoed this when he wrote, "Even the wish-granting jewel cannot be seen when in the pouch. The Buddha nature is inherent in us, though unseen." Our chanting may not always bring instant dramatic results, but it is always working, always healing, always awakening the Buddha within. When we chant with the wish to help others, our own lives expand and brighten in ways we might never expect. This is what the great Buddhist scholar Nagarjuna meant when he wrote, "The mind is the forerunner of all states. The mind is chief. Mind-made are they." Every thought, every word, every action begins in the mind, and when we fill our minds with the wisdom and compassion of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, our bodies and our lives follow this positive direction. We become a person of excellent beauty, surpassing all others, as the Lotus Sutra describes, not because of cosmetics or exercise, but because our inner wisdom is shining forth. In the world today, we are often told that beauty comes from products, surgeries, or expensive treatments. But the Buddhist path teaches that true beauty, true health, and true happiness come from within, from the regular, sincere practice of chanting and the deepening of our wisdom. This practice is not about denying the body or escaping the world. It is about embracing life exactly as it is and transforming it from the inside out. Nichiren Daishonin assured us, "I have never once heard of anyone who practiced the Lotus Sutra according to the Buddha's teachings and failed to become a Buddha." This promise is for everyone, no matter our past, no matter our challenges, no matter our doubts. As we sit each day in our Daimoku spa, our quiet space of chanting, we are not just repeating words. We are making a declaration to the universe. I am more than my problems, more than my fears, more than my limitations. I am a being of boundless wisdom, courage, and compassion. This is the promise of the Lotus Sutra, and this is the experience of those who chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo with faith. The famous Buddhist master Dogen once said, "To study the way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be enlightened by all things." When we chant, We are studying ourselves, forgetting our small, limited self, and awakening to the great, unlimited self of Buddhahood. This is why our chanting can change not only our moods or our health, but the very way we see the world. As we purify our 6 senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and mind through Daimoku, the world itself begins to look, sound, feel, and even taste different. The Lotus Sutra says, "They will see the Buddhas, hear the law, and be in the presence of the Sangha." This seeing and hearing is not about miracles, but about a deepening awareness, a clarity that comes from within. We begin to notice beauty where we once saw only ugliness, to hear harmony where we once heard confusion, to taste the sweetness of life where we once tasted only bitterness. This transformation is not always easy or quick. Sometimes we may not feel any different at all. Sometimes our problems may even seem to get worse before they get better. But Nichiren Daishonin encouraged us. Even a lengthy journey begins with a single step, and even the greatest wisdom originates with a single thought. Each chant is a step, each moment of sincerity, a thought, and with time, these add up to a journey that changes everything. The body is not just a machine to be fixed, nor is the mind just a collection of thoughts and feelings. Both are expressions of the same great life force, and both can be purified, healed, and awakened through the practice of Daimoku. The more we chant, the more we notice that our desires themselves begin to change. We may start by chanting for money, for health, for love, and these are not wrong wishes. But as we deepen our practice, we find ourselves chanting for the happiness of others, for peace in the world, for the wisdom to overcome our own ignorance and anger. The Lotus Sutra says, "May all beings be happy, free from suffering and the causes of suffering." This wish becomes our wish, not just in words, but in the depths of our hearts. When this happens, our lives become a true reflection of Buddhahood. Others see it in us, not because we are perfect, but because we are genuine, compassionate, and awake. Our Daimoku Spa is not just a place or a time. It is a state of being, a way of living that brings out the best in ourselves and in everyone around us. Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "A cherry, a plum, a peach, a damson. Each is endowed with its own fruit as the mystic law endows each being with Buddhahood. Each of us is unique, yet each of us carries the same limitless potential within. Chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo is the way we water this seed, and over time, the fruit of our efforts, health, beauty, happiness naturally appears. In every age, people have sought ways to look good, feel good, and be happy. The answer has always been within us. The Lotus Sutra assures us, there is no place in the universe where the Buddha is not, and Nichiren Daishonin taught us how to tap into this truth in our daily lives. Our Daimoku Spa is always open, always pure, always welcoming. All we have to do is sit, chant, and let the wisdom of the universe do its work in our bodies, in our minds, and in our lives. With each chant, we are not just asking for something, we are awakening something. The Buddha within, the unity of body and mind, the great harmony of life itself. This is the true beauty, the true health, and the true happiness that comes from the practice of Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And this is the promise of your very own Daimoku Spa, a place within where every moment is a step toward enlightenment, and every chant is a celebration of the oneness that is your true nature.